172 others. Is it 13 or 2020? This is my lord. And we are ready to proceed with this witness. I've made a list of exhibits that will assist the court, and I've given copies of the exhibits, and I've even emailed it to my colleagues as well.
Thank you so much for the book.
Well, I've just, there's another mistake. The exhibit yesterday, GG should in fact be H8 because GG was the momentum report, the advanced driving course of accused number 2. They added up as GG. Yeah, the book GG. So it must be then HH is then the doc. But I have already corrected it on this list. I will see. And I see, in fact, we've already handed out 56 exhibits in total. We've got 48 up to HH, and then the exhibits 1 to 8. If you count all together, it's 56 exhibits already.
So the docket is exhibit HH.
That's correct.
Good.
Amazing.
Thank you so much for your list of the exhibits, Mr. Badenhorst. I highly appreciate it.
Solve a lot of problems.
My Lord, I also want to thank my colleague for forwarding the copies. I just want to confirm if 37 remains as GG.
Yeah.
Item 37, does it stay as GG? Because I see there's HH48.
You didn't put in GG here on your
Item 37 is, yes, SBS Barnes driving program.
37. Oh, yes.
So
There's
you have
SBS
two
Barnes
HH.
driving program. Because what I did was I put it according to how the exhibit was handled from the beginning to end. So I've kept the sequence the same.
So advanced driving is GG.
That is. HH is the case.
Thank you, my Lord. That's very
Sergeant, you are still in the former speaker trial. You confirm that?
Sergeant Gandam confirm, madam.
Thank you. You may take a seat.
What is this? I mean, yesterday, the last question I asked you yesterday is whether these rounds I mentioned in the book or the OB, whether it was mentioned in affidavit, and you stated that is correct. So, do you remember that was the last question?
Yes, I remember.
So then my next question is, so do you then confirm the contents and correctness of the statement of accused number 2, and that the information that he gave to you and that you wrote it down? In other words, you confirm the contents and correctness of the statement that accused 2 gave you, that that information is correct as to what he gave you and obviously what you also wrote down.
So I think what you're in front of Mr. Badenhorst, you want the witness to confirm that whatever accused number 2 told her, she wrote exactly the same.
That's correct.
So exactly what accused number 2 told her, is that what you wrote down?
Is that what you wrote down?
No, confirm or is number 2 or the amber days knows more about the affidavit. Yes.
Uyavuma ukuthi konke lokho umhani lesibili aqelelezwe manje yile into lena oyibhale phansi ke apha kule statement leso uthi indaba.
Okay, right. If you can please now read the statement into the record as it was told to you and as you wrote down, it down.
Barbara statement.
I, Scorpion Galvani, state under oath in English. I am a black male, age 45 years, employed by SAPS, stationed at El Rado Park as a crime prevention officer, serving under the command of Lieutenant Colonel Rush Bailey, cell number 011-946-0300. On 2020-08-26 at about 9:15, I was at Hillbrook Flat Entry, waiting for the backup to search the white Mitsubishi truck suspected to have stolen properties inside. We had a bang of explosive and two colored males opened fire at us, and we jumped out of the van and took cover and retaliate, and they ran with a firearm, and we found 2 live rounds on the scene as per SAP 13-1686/2020. After the incident, we opened the case of attempted murder and attack on police against these unknown 2 colored males. We don't know whether they were safeguarding the truck or not. We also don't know whether the victim, Mr. Julius Nathaniel, was injured by the explosive or the retaliation of the shotgun rubber bullet. I know and understand the content of this statement. I have no objection to taking the prescribed oath. I consider the oath to be binding on my conscience.
Ngoba ke esi statement esesifundile uyafuna ukuthi ngikufundele sona na okanye usindasendile. I do understand. Accused number 2 says, my lord, he does understand what was read in the record.
And as you've previously stated, the accused too has also signed at the end.
Number 2 or sign a statement. Yes, number 2 did sign.
And
Manje ke umkhanelo wesibili ke uyawasayina ke statement esi uthi ewe usisayinile.
and was the affidavit certified or commissioned?
No, statement is commissioning work and also certified. It was commissioned.
Eso statement eso sa-commissioner futhi sasithi siphiwa na futhi si-commissioniwe.
And who commissioned it?
New commissioner.
Sergeant Chikani Cairo Matebul.
Bani osi-commissionile?
Sergeant
Chikani
Cairo Matebula.
Cairo Matebula.
And furthermore, if you go with me to exhibit L2, that's just one back from where you are. Are you there? Sorry, two exhibits back. It will be the SAP 13 entry 1686. You see that?
Yeah.
1686.
In the affidavit of accused number 2, he refers to the SAP 13 1686. Is that entry visible there that I've shown you in L2?
Entry 1686 invisible ka OB Gorioko Ambagayoka statement. Yes, it is visible.
Manje ke le entry lena babiza ukuthi 1686 ke iyabonakala ke lapha ma-OB ke statement uthi ewe.
And do you recognize that entry?
Maybe by entry. Yes.
Leyo entry leyo uyayazi na? Ewe ndiyayazi.
And what entry is that?
Entry, I mean.
It's
It's an entry. It's an entry to book in those 2 live rounds into SAP 30.
Manje ke leyo entry yantoni? Leyo entry leyo ke yila sibhuke khona okanye kubhuke khona ke la lezi nhlavu lezo ke ezingasetshenziswa ke ngaphakathi lapha.
And who booked them into that SAP 13 in L2?
This is round.
the moment over.
Accused number 2.
Ubani uye wabhukisha lezo leyo entry leyo okanye lawo ma-live rounds amabili ke uthi umkhanelo wesibili.
Now, are those then the same 2 live rounds that you referred to in this, or that accused to refer to in the statement, as well as that was referred to in the OB entry that we did yesterday?
Zino hezi zi-rounds zi-rounds ezibo amba ngazo kha statement inakha L2. Yes.
Lawo ma-rounds lawo-ke yiwo-ke lawo-ke alesibili athetha ngawo-ke futhi sakhe futhi yiwo-ke lawo-ke abhukelwa phela ku-OB futhi ewe
Good. Mr. Shivasek, Mr. Marinatelli, and Mr. Massetti, have you now, having heard the evidence, have you come to an agreement as to how long you will take the cross-examination? Having listened to the evidence of this witness, how long do you anticipate you will be the cross-examination?
No, my lord, today I'm choosing to be an spectator.
Mr. Yeah.
My lord, plus minus 20 to 30 minutes.
Excellent, well done, Mr. Massetti.
Strictly one question, clarity. Strictly.
Is it?
Strictly.
With due respect, times 3.
With your respect, my lord, strictly one. That's for clarity purposes.
Excellent. So, can we, do you want to, what is the position? Do you want to finish the cross-examination?
Finish that now.
Finish the cross-examination that you
And
can.
obviously, if my colleague takes too long, then we will have to stand.
Then we're standing down.
So let's.
Yeah,
I
okay.
think the board is
This
useful.
Can we just quickly, won't be too long, then once they're done, I'll carry on. Mr. Kotwana, is it okay? Thank you so much for that. Ms. Morgan, is that fine?
Fine.
Yeah. Right. Mr. Shivasi, cross-examination.
My lord, I want to be a spectator today, my lord.
Yours. Mr. Majid, can you just give me 1 second? I just want to just do my. Give it a second.
All right.
My lord, I concur with Austin.
I'll be back in a second.
Athinga answer or amba ngo confirm the oath now.
You said you was coming.
Yes, my lord. Yes. Starting, of course, you are testifying for the second time in this matter. Correct.
Ngore ba tanza la bubila for that's correct.
so uthula ubungqina okwesibili ke ngoku kule case uthi ebenjani
You consulted with my learned colleague before the second testimony. That is before you testify the second time.
Bo consult na mchuchisi pande ore ba nekuzana na butanzi la bubila. Yes.
uye wasetha-ke nomtshutshisi-ke nje kuzothula ubungqina okwesibili
Yes. You still, as your police sergeant, am I correct?
Ba the police sergeant.
sasingusatsheni kunjani
Correct.
injani
You do understand what an oath is.
Ba fese sore ujia muano kana utigana ndini. Yes, I understand.
ngiyazi kusho ukuthini-ke ukuthatha isibongo
On the day that you took the statement of accused number 2, did you obtain an oath from him?
The way about your statement is number 2. Bo dia ano ka ene kana mo mukanisa. Yes, I did take an oath from number 2.
Ngemini ke usathatha statement kini wamfundisa uthi ndiyenza kwenza lokho.
Can you demonstrate to the court how you administered the oath to him?
Come on, what some resori bo ita ani oath ka e. Can you please, I do not understand, can you please elaborate your question?
How did you go about obtaining an oath from accused number 2 regarding his statement?
Oja ani oath ya number 2 for statement chapter.
Saizoba amuchu wa kukumpliment. Notation sa jabo kama jole na wa statement. Kama wale statement ndio kama
Because accused number 2 was a complainant. I was listening to what he was saying and I was writing down his statement.
Kawusikolele ke okanye kasibonise ukuthi umfundise njani futhi ngokuthi ke wena ke uyicomplainant. Uyowamamela yonke into oyitshoyo wasebhala phansi ke yonke into oyithethayo.
And then?
Namrazo.
Gamrejo ndamupa statement wa shulana na kumutisa.
Then after that, I gave him the statement to read. To read and sign.
Emva koko ke emva koko kanti kusibhala ke ndamupha sona ke statement ukuthi asifunde adile ukusifunda ke ukuthi asisayine.
And then? Did you do anything else after that?
Lazima uzika namrazo. No.
Khona okunye kwenzile emva koko.
I see. Because accused number 2 says he never took an oath before you after the process of writing down of the statement.
Bori number 2 arango ano ngaphandle umwe statement chapter.
Ndo ndonse ngwala jenda ngwala ra lo singa kan ndo mutisi
I wouldn't have taken down the statement if it did not come to me for me to assist him with taking down the statement.
Ngoba umhalo wesibili uthi khange wena umfundise ke xa uthatha leso statement leso ke uthi ke bekayeke asase leso statement leso xa kube ungazange kuyiphosisa access.
So what you're saying is that you took an oath from number 2 and commissioned the statement after you'd taken it down.
Number 2 usika kabebe awumbelore toto nekezana statement ajia oath statement shangoliwa pasi then sa commissioning.
as in the commissioner when you just statement.
I'm not the one who commissioned the statement, I just wrote down the statement.
Manje ke ufundisile abhalisa phansi ke statement wasi usicommissioner ke emva koko uthi ayindini uye wacommissioner eso statement leso.
Sergeant Cairo Matula commissioned the statement.
Sergeant Cairo Matebula the annual commissioner statement.
Okay.
Yes.
Sergeant Cairo Matebula uye wacommissioner eso statement as error.
That's what you are saying. Now, I need to ask you, what do you understand by commissioning a statement? Just to make sure that we're on the same page.
Commissioner ndimi vapesesa hano commissioner statement.
musi mulandu wovuliwa complainant yonosaina una chitembe chine chakandiwa nga murahu wa statement ngapasa statement chine chatosainiwa.
When a case has been opened and a complainant has given in a statement and they've signed a statement, there's a stamp that is placed below the statement or behind, depending on the space. Then it is signed.
So, do you know who put the stamp, whichever side, in this case, on this day?
Zinobate bora ndinyi mopanga stamp per statement. Yes.
uyazi ukuthi ubani ufake i-stamp lesi-ke
Who put the
kuleso
stamp?
statement.
Sergeant Chikan Kairo Matulu.
Sergeant Chikam Cairo Matebula.
Ubani uSergeant Chikano Kairo Mathebula.
Okay. Sergeant Matebula put the stamp. So, what was your role exactly, other than taking down the statement?
Zino Sergeant Matebula Uganda stamp statement. Zino role ya biwe ni mwingi statement. Ganda wangwala statement first role ni.
Nendo ndichipedza kumuvhurera mulandu ndamupa statement kuti achivali asaini ndaya toilet.
After I opened the case, I gave him the statement to read and sign, and then I went to the ladies.
Manje-ke wena-ke ngaphandle kokuthi ubhale phansi kuleso statement leso eyakho indima bekuyiyiphi-ke uyasho ukuthi-ke ngiyambona i-case-ke ngabhala phansi leso statement leso-ke emva koko ndahamba-ke ndaya etoilet.
And you never obtained an oath from the accused number 2?
Abango wana ofika number 2.
Yatungocha achisaina statement chavo tungocha vya commission statement nondola toilet.
I did not commission his statement because I was in the ladies.
Manje kusho ukuthi-ke azange-ke umfundise ukuthi angibekanga i-stamp emva kokuthi ngeke ndahamba-ke ndaya etoilet.
When you say Sergeant Matebula, Kairo Matebula, commissioned the statement, and did you actually see her putting the stamp on the statement?
Mina bachamba uri Sergeant Matebula ni ene o Uganda stamp cha
Or was it
statement.
before or after you'd gone to the toilet?
Bomu wana achi Uganda stamp kana ubeyi ube toilet.
Tinomuvona chiganga ndipo tochivona zvino pastatement yokugenza commission statement.
I did not see her putting this commissioning stamp on the statement. I only saw it now because I was in the toilet.
Manje-ke umbonile-ke u-Sergeant Matebula lona-ke esifaka-ke leso stamp leso-ke emva kwe-statement-ke futhi akambonanga esibeka leso stamp leso esibona ngoko akasibonanga ngoba uye waya etoilet.
Your evidence before His Lordship Judge Munama, may his soul rest in peace, was that when you had handed over the statement to accused number 2, you went to the toilet and you never saw it again. You remember?
Ka judge mana mabwambore gamrauru baneke the number 2 statement iba ya toilet abangobona statement futhi. That is correct.
Ngaphambi-ke ujaji-ke elikhulu-ke uMnama
Because ndichiri ndochivona zvino ndikotsora.
Hence I'm saying I only see now that the statement is commissioned on the back.
ngaphambi komnama-ke ujaji-ke ushilo ukuthi emva kokuthi unikeze leso statement leso uhambe wethu awubonanga ukuthi awubonanga mabesiwukhayiro makastem uthi yebo kunjalo ngibhalise nje i-statement ngibhale nje i-statement-ke mina kana isembu lezi ngisibona lana ecourt manje.
So you are saying it is Sergeant Cairo Matebula who commissioned it, because you see the stamp, but you didn't actually see her do that or put in the stamp.
Zino ba ambore ndi cited Cairo Matebula commissioner chief statement ngori ba khona dzina lawe kha stempe abamubona nga chipinga achi banga stempe kha statement. I did not see her when she was commissioning the statement. I'm only seeing it now.
nje busho ke ukuthi uKairo uyena Matebula uyena ke uye beka leso stamp lesi kusho ukuthi awumbonanga sibeke leso stamp lesi ngiyatsho ukuthi istamp lesi ke noma nalo muntu osibekile leso stamp ubona lana ecourt ukuthi yeba ngibona isifaka leso stamp.
It is accused number 2's version that he never took any oath before Sergeant Cairo Matebula either.
Number 2 arango jia uka Sergeant Matebula. I won't be able to respond to that.
Manje ke umhalalo wesibili uthi ke ekhange uKairo Matebula ke amfundise okanye afunde phambi kwakhe ke uKairo Matebula lona. Siyaphendula ke uthi akakwazi ukuphendula.
Cairo Matebula gave evidence, correct?
For the second time, my lord, I think she did.
And was this aspect explored?
I think it was, my lord, yes.
In the cross-examination.
Yes, and I think that was the main issue of cross-examination about whether she performed the duties of a commissioner or not. And I think also,
Well, let me just refresh your memory. On the 3rd of October 2022 at 13 hours 10 minutes, Sergeant Shikani Cairo Matebula was called as a fourth witness, who came and confirmed Exhibit BB7 at 13 hours 20. Then, on the 5th of October 2022, the witness was then accused number 1 was requested to cross-examine the witness. Mr. Shivasi had no questions for that witness. Then, Mr. Nathaniel, who appears on behalf of accused number 2, had no cross-examination either. Now, the question that begs to be asked is, issue is now being taken about what Matebula did. She came to give evidence. She was here. She was a warm body. It was never asked her trial. But you take an issue with this one as something that Matebula did.
no, my lord, so far as this witness is concerned, I'm just putting a version of accused number 2.
But now, why was that version never ever put to Matebula?
I think this version,
No, you don't think. I'm telling you that there was no cross-examination by accused number 2 to Cairo Matebula.
my lord, I'm subject to the court's ruling. I beg to correct you on this. I think probably it was before Judge Munama.
No. My question to you is, on the 1st
If
of
it was-
October 2022,
Yes.
there was no cross-examination by accused number 2 to Matebula. Are we correct in that,
If the record says so, my lord, that should be correct.
Mr. Badenhorst?
Yes.
Now, let's go to brief, Mr. Massetti.
That's why, just to assist the court, my lord, I recall very well when I was putting questions to Ms. Matebula, the issue of the statement of number 2 and how it unfolded, my lord. I made it clear that I'm not representing number 2, but all that I'm dealing with is the fact that Ms. Matebula, when she testified before this court, she made mention that the investigating officer happened to correct some of the issues in her statement. to an extent, my lord, that in her statement there were issues that referred to this witness. I recall it's in paragraph number 3 of the statement of Ms. Matebula. Then I explore further the issue of commissioning now. When you commission, Ms. Matebula.
Can I just ask you, at the time when you cross-examined the witness, were you representing accused number 2? Were you representing accused number 2?
My lord, I was not representing number 2, but the court did allow me to.
Accused number 2. Can you please just take a seat? I'm dealing with counsel to accused number 2. Just relax.
Yes, my lord. My lord,
There
I
was no
will.
cross-examination at all of that witness.
Yes.
Now you are taxing this witness and saying, accused number 2 will come to say to the court, he never took an oath before Matebula. But why was that person not put to Matebula when she was cross-examined? When you had the opportunity on the 5th of October, unless did you previously put it to her? Can I just look at the record?
Probably, my lord, but I
Let's
think
take
I.
a look. BB7. Mr. Badenhorst, keep all the exhibits. Where would it be, BB7? Where would it be?
One day when I do my whole box, I
Right,
didn't
it's here, no, it's here, it's here, it's here.
know that we were going to navigate.
Meantime, my lord, can I also just quickly take a
That was BB7.
Yeah, I've got it. Page 100. Page 100 of exhibit BB7. Line number 24. It says, yes, I have got that. And judging from your evidence, you allege that you commissioned the statement about 4 a.m. on the 27th. And Ms. Matebula says that is correct. But now, look at the thrust of the question, the next question. You are taxing this witness by saying to her, but you were never there when the statement was commissioned. When you cross-examine Matebula, you use the same modus operandi and then you say to her, but you were not there when this witness was taking out the statement. You say the following, you did not witness Sergeant Muvhango taking the statement, did you? Ms. Matebula says, I witnessed that, I saw them, both of them, they were seated together. But you did not know what they were doing. No, I do not know what they were doing, but they were both seated together. So she confirmed to you on page 100 of the record before my learned brother, the late Mr. Justice Bonama, that she in fact commissioned it.
But the nub of the question, my lord, is the conduct and the version of the accused. The witness can either confirm or deny it.
But she said to you beforehand that when the statement was commissioned, she was in the toilet. She doesn't know a single thing. But she's given you answer. She says, I cannot respond. That's
But
it.
with respect, my lord, to the best of my recollection, it's a pity I don't have BB7 in front of me right now. But Matebula's evidence is clearly to the fact that she never took an oath from accused number 2.
She said she
From-
commissioned it.
But she never took an oath from accused number 2.
Fortunately, I brought BB7 to court. Let me share it with you.
My lord,
You can take a look. Here's BB7.
we might not be on the same page.
No, it doesn't matter. There's BB7 is here. Let's try and get onto the same page.
Yes.
Here it is. Take a look.
Why my apologies, but I mean, anyway, at this point, they're not going to object against that version of it because it's irrelevant to this witness. I mean, she cannot answer it. It shouldn't even be regarded by this court because it's unfair
Witness that
towards this. I mean, got to put your version to the witness that's actually relevant to the version, as a court cases.
But my lord, if the witness says to a court of law that I put a stamp, but I never obtained an oath from a witness,
Yeah, you must please.
that is evidence that this court cannot ignore.
Look, for one moment, the court is not disagreeing with you, but remember, this court was not seated, was not the first court of first instance. Now, you are putting a version. All the court is saying, here's Exhibit BB7. For you to be able to put that version, it must be somewhere. Just draw my attention to where it is on the record so that the court can make a note of it.
Lord, can I just go
Yes,
down
yes,
with
yes,
it?
you can go through it.
Because
I'm giving you BB7.
examination by
So I said to you, what BB7 with
No, my lord, I do not have, but I know very well when I cross-examined the witness on the second occasion, Ms. Matebula, she made it clear before this court that at no stage I ever took an oath from accused number 2.
What was the question I asked you?
And to that, to take it further,
Mr. Massetti, Mr. Massetti,
yes, my lord.
what questions the court asked you?
The question that the court asked is about BB7, but
The question the court asked you, do you have Exhibit BB7?
no, my lord.
Right, and that's about it.
No.
I've not asked you anything further.
This is not contained on BB7, my lord.
Yes, that's all. I've not asked you anything further. So I don't want to hear anything further. If I want clarification, I will engage the parties.
I hear the court.
Good, thank you so much. What was do you have Exhibit BB7?
Well, this is because no question was asked from everyone. Today, I didn't do my speech place that I always brought every day because I didn't think it would at all be relevant. So I only brought evidence that was relevant to this witness. But I do not remember that was this version. I can from memory remember was never script.
It's fine. Let Mr. Mintelli find it next to BB7.
The one day that I left that big box that I come with every day.
Lord, I don't think I'll be very long.
No, no problem. We must be 100% sure of what you are putting.
Look, I don't know whether we could maybe stand down. I really do not like the way we're going about it because it's going to
Mr.
delay the
Mintelli,
proceedings.
It's not a question of whether you like how it is going on or not. It's simple. You are standing cross-examining the witness. If you want to challenge evidence of the witness, I would expect you to have the relevant documents in your possession. Now to stand here and the court is saying, here's exhibit BB7. You put a proposition to the witness. Kindly show it to me where it exists in BB7.
All I'm
That's
saying
all the
is
court is
that
asking you.
I would like to cooperate as much as possible without disrupting the proceedings. But because
But you should
obviously,
have prepared yourself. You knew this witness is giving evidence. The cornerstone, you should have taken instructions from your client. You already know what is in dispute. You should have brought exhibit BB7 to court today. You should have prepared your cross-examination. Now to say, well, you know what, I need some time to take a look at BB7. It just indicates that you have not prepared yourself for the cross-examination.
No, my lord, the
and you're
point is-
attempting to shoot in the dark.
my lord, if the court can bear with me, I am not, I'm seriously not trying to make anybody's life difficult. All I'm trying to say is that clearly in this trial, we have not had things happening the very normal ways. We've had to start over and try and get transcripts and things like that. Sometimes you get them, sometimes you don't get them. And I'm not blaming anybody about it. I'm just saying that because there is this particular issue which is important, it might be necessary in the interest of justice that it be properly verified, because I want to put to the witness, and the court does not want me to put the statement of the witness, which simply says that according to Sergeant Matebula's testimony, she never obtained an oath from the Jews. Number two,
I don't have a problem with that, provided you can show it to me
Yes.
where Matavula has
yes,
said.
I thought this is a matter that is really in vogue in the evidence before this court.
Like the exhibit BB7 is there. If you're putting something to a witness, it's tracked. And if you say a witness said 1, 2, 3 during the course of the evidence, this court is asking you, well, just show it to me where it is. If you can show it to me, it's there, then you can put it.
Yes, my lord.
But if it is not there, at the end of the day, one cannot allow propositions that cannot be substantiated to be put to a witness. So, do you want some time to prepare yourself?
I would prepare, my lord, because this is very fundamental. If the court feels that it is unfair to the witness, as my lord colleague also says, it has to be proven.
Well, you're putting a proposition to the witness as a fact, right? The witness already said, I cannot respond. But now the record shows it as a fact, and all the court is saying is, if that is the case, just show the court the records. The court can mark it so that when the court is appraising the evidence, the court knows that this is what evidence was given previously. But now if counsel is saying something that's a fact and it's not in the transcript, and that renders that particular question nugatory. You see?
My lord, I will
So may I make a
diligently.
suggestion?
Yes.
As this question is totally irrelevant to this witness, obviously, and I'm not even going to object, and we can't go forward putting aspects of Matibulu that this witness doesn't know about. So I suggest Makori carry on with his cross-examination. If later, even on Monday, if the evidence is here, he finds it, well, then he can just bring it to our attention. But it cannot be put to this witness because she wasn't there at the time when the commissioning was, or when Matibulu put the stamp on. So I would submit that we are just wasting time. Let's just continue, and my colleague can then use all the time he needs to go and show the court exactly where it was put in Matibulu. But it cannot be put to this witness because she doesn't know, she wasn't there.
Mr. Nathaniel.
No, my lord, I was proceeding on the impression that I'm entitled to put a version to the witness to test the witness's knowledge or apprehension of that version. Sometimes the witness comes around and says, yeah, I remember that, and he explains, oh, he just gainsays it, you know. I don't know why I cannot put this version to this witness, because it's not to say the witness must necessarily subscribe to it, but you must show a reaction to it. Because there was obviously an exchange of documents between the tripartite, Matebula, accused number 2, and the witness. And Matebula and the witness were working in the same office.
Yeah, but am I correct in saying that you want to put to this witness that Matavula gave evidence in the court of first instance whereby she confirmed that she did not administer the oath to accuse number 2. Is that what you want?
Yes, my lord.
So what does that mean to any sane individual? What does that mean? It means that Matavula was sitting in court when she in fact said that. And if she in fact said that on record, the record of proceedings should and must show it. Am I right?
Yes, my lord.
And this court must now accept, because when you put a proposition, this court now will sit and accept and say, well, definitely this is what Matavula said in the first trial, that she admitted that she did not administer the oath. All this court is saying is, here's the transcript, Exhibit BB7. Just draw the court's attention to where it shows, so the court can highlight it, make a note, and knows exactly what is going on, if it is there. If it is not there, that means you are putting an incorrect proposition to the witness.
Yes,
So,
ma'am.
the first port of call is to just look into the transcript and say, here it is, this is what she said, then the court can make a note and everybody's on the same page and nobody's belaboring under any other misapprehension. Because let's say for one moment, this court just allows that question to go through. That means this court and other members of the team here are belaboring under the misapprehension that Ms. Matavula admitted during her evidence that she did not administer the oath to accused number 2, when in truth and in fact, she did not do that according to the record. So let us just clarify that position.
If we approach...
This court is not stopping you.
Yes, my lord.
Understand that?
I appreciate it.
I'm just saying,
Yes.
put the correct proposition so that the correct position reflects on the record and to this court.
The proposition that I put does not necessarily depend on Matebula, because it is a version of a third person, that is accused number 2.
No, but you say Matavula gave evidence. Matavula has admitted on record that she did not administer. Oh, that's what I understood you to say, Mr. Badenhorst.
Let me rephrase it, my lord. Maybe that will make it right easy for
Well,
you.
that's how do you intend rephrasing. Let me hear your rephrase, because you are saying as a given that that is what she admitted to, and that is now a fact that she gave. But if you want to rephrase, let's hear what you want to ask.
Yeah. I'm also aware, although I don't rely on that, that when he was being cross-examined, even by accused number 3's verdict, she made that. But I'm going to speak for number 2.
Yes.
Accused number 2, this gentleman behind me, says he never obtained an oath from Sergeant Matebula on the day in question. What is your response?
Objection, my lord. I'm sorry, but this witness can't answer that. She was in the toilet.
Let's hear her response. What is your response?
Accused number 2 are in the about Sumariwa statement itawe pasi ango jiamu ano anga Matebula.
Ndakasiphendula ngo ndandisile actually commission statement chawo ndandisile ndakasiphendula.
My lord, I won't be able to respond to that because I was not present when Matebula was commissioning the statement.
Umkhalelo wesibili uthi uMatebula khange amfundise kwistatement sakhe ngenkathi isikhomishini. Uyaphendula uthi ayikwazi ukuphendukela ngenyanga ithumi nabo-2 ngoba kuntinkeleko ngexesha uMatebula ekhomishini isistatement esi sakalabo 2.
And you did say in your evidence that your understanding of commissioning is putting down of the stamp on the document.
Kabutanzi bayiweko ambore commissioner ndubanga kana uganda stamp ka statement tisa sainiwa bangana date stamp. Yes.
Ushilo ukuthi ukhomishina waphela phansi ukugqilisa ngokwesihambo behamba ifike futhi nokusayina uthi
It is also number 2's version that the reason he did not obtained an oath from number 2, from Matebula, was that he was unwilling to go ahead with the statement because he had abandoned it.
Number 2, reason yawe chigojama ano kama tebula uri any oversight vela phanda statement konya kulithi
What is the answer?
I don't know what I'll say to that.
Yes. I'll just obtain the last. Well, I just want to see if there's anything that could fall off the table here. And just to put the version in full, my lord, because sometimes you get people saying that why did you put this to witness, and sometimes all of that. If it's superfluous, then the court will say. In addition, he says he abandoned it because he was not in a emotionally well-adjusted position to write a statement anyway. He was still traumatized by the incident.
And reason yawe yokugogocha umwacha statement ngobe as right traumatized. That is not a question you are telling me, so what do you want to say? Yes, no, what?
Uthi umshwalense isizathu sokuthi angasakhile noma angafuni ukusibhalisa okanye asabhekene lesokuthi ngoba bebengekho right emotionally ukuthi abhalise statement yini uthi ngokufuna ukuthi ngoba kuqala yona asombuzo ngicabanga dithi engithi come
I'm just putting a version there for the consumption of the court. And you also would confirm that Kendall Sambo did say you must take the statement down yourself on account of the fact that the accused was traumatized. Is it correct?
Babuza version ya number 2 and futhi na wewe bo ambor Colonel Sambo rukombelore GS statement is number 2 kana ni to say number 2 ngori number 2 we are traumatized. Yes.
Nawe uchiwo ngexesha lokumina bakho ukuthi uKenneth Sambo uye othe ubhalise ubhalele istatement sakhe enumber 2 ngoba ngelo xesha lelo inumber 2 ebe traumatized uthi
Yes, my lord. My lord, as I express my gratitude to the colleague for the state for bringing the index to the exhibit, I think that what I will probably want to do now is to get the physical exhibits themselves to make sure that they tally with this list. Otherwise, I have some, but I'm not sure I have all of them. But otherwise, I'm done with this witness.
So wait, just one second. I want to understand this here. Are you saying now that the state must not give you exhibits because you don't have them?
No, my lord. It will be incumbent upon me to organize the exhibits. To the extent that I need the assistance of the state, I will enlist it to the extent that it is available.
No, but I want to understand, are you saying then that this trial is proceeding and the state counsel is bypassing, you're not giving the documents?
No, that's not what I'm saying, my lord. I'm just saying that it has to be accepted and admit, quite honestly, that because of the changes that have been necessitated by the unavailability of the...
Just give us a few seconds, the machine is just I get my exhibit double B7 back, please? Thank you.
I also want to thank the court for assisting me, my lord. I don't know if the reporter is now.
No, not yet, we're just waiting.
Nothing from me, my lord.
Okay.
Nothing from my side.
No, you just, you said you don't want to become involved in all this. How long are you going to be, sir?
I beg your pardon.
How long are you going to be?
No. Less than 5 minutes.
Okay. Have you seen the T-shirt that the member of the media is wearing?
NASA. I see NASA, but
Can you just be as fast as I
I didn't even understand the meaning. Why not?
She's come with a T-shirt to give you some idea of how fast you should be. So put us into corporate rather fast.
Also, according to my colleagues, also that we can quickly finish also. I understand it's Friday, so we need to go and attend to some other issues. Chances are traveling, visiting the end aspect of
Can I
chances.
ask you also, are you then expanding on the cross-examination of Mr. Nathaniel for and on behalf of Mr.
No, I'm referring to
No, I want to know, are you going to expand on the cross-examination by Mr. Nathaniel for and on behalf of accused?
No. I'm going to deal with this aspect that I feel.
You saw what you look at. It's number 3.
Yes, I know. That's not taking no.
Just give me a second, just 2 minutes. We should be picking up. Mr. Nathaniel, have you noticed that it's rather surprising that the State Council comes every single day with a massive black box, it's called a big gym box.
Yes, my
And
lord.
I see council but only come with 1 lever archway every day.
Yes.
And this court also has got 4 lever archway. So I don't know how you, the 3 of you managed to condense all the evidence into one file.
Yeah. My lord, it actually reminds me, that I probably should ask for exigency to the court. There's one little thing that I omitted, which might
Your
just,
cross-examination.
yes, my lord. Just one.
Gentlemen, you can start bringing your laptops from Monday. All this stuff is on case plans and we can share it also with the accused. So that we don't have to worry about jumping around looking for which exhibit. In fact, BP7, Mr. Nathaniel is already on there. Am I right, responses?
Yes, Judge.
Yes, BP7 is there. So we'll just look at the laptop, you get BP7 without physically looking all over the show, right?
Yes, my lord.
We'll do that from Monday.
I would like just to quickly.
No, we'd love you to just do what you want to do quickly, but let's wait for the mission.
It's not. Oh, sorry. It's not NASA. It's not NASA.
No, it's not NASA. Any of the accused want to come for a break? Yeah, the accused of can go, please, you can go. While we're just waiting for the machine, please, we can.
Because when the pre-trial meetings, we had all the emails and stuff was on the pre-trial meetings as well, checking out the questions. Remember, they were also receiving these public files, it wasn't just, it's not just the transfer, it was the whole private properties on.
Yes. Okay, Mr. Nathaniel, we are on record.
Yes, my lord, thank you very much.
The witness, you are still under your form of speak.
Confirm the oath, my lord.
Thank you.
Yes, number one.
Oh, Mr. Schwartz, oh, yes. Missing.
Yes, my lord. I'd like to refer the witness to L3 one more time. That is the statement of case number 2 that we're talking about. L3. You got it?
Yeah,
I see. Is it your handwriting?
the Mwarwa one. It's my handwriting.
Nguwe bhale apha, ewe, yini bhala.
Would you agree that below the signature that purports to be that of number 2, there is some space there? Or what would be your comment? There is space below the signature of accused number 2.
Bangatendelana nani or nga pasiwa signature ya number 2 kuna space.
Okay, show me space.
Yes, there is space.
Ngiyavuma ukuthi emva lapha kwi-signature number 2 kune-space ithi space.
Would you also concede that that space is adequate to accommodate the commissioning stamp?
Mr. Richard, here's the legal. Here's the legal. Just by shade. Measure the stamp for the commissioner of police with the signature and measure the space. Let's do it scientifically instead of shooting in the dark.
Okay, okay, we have. I'm saying that
No, no, before you say what you want to say, what is the measurement of the
it's 7 centimeters, my lord.
commissioner of police stamp is 7 centimeters?
7 centimeters.
Together with the signature.
Yes, the stamp and the signature is 7 centimeters.
Yes, the commissioner of stamp is 7 centimeters and the space on the page is 5 centimeters.
5.
Just give it back, Mr. Chair. So look. That's right to the bottom of the page is 5 centimeters.
Yeah. Well, my lord, from 1 is actually 7 centimeters.
Yeah. The space from after the signature.
Maybe we should get the interpreter to confirm.
Lord, I
From
can
1
even with my
centimeter
eyes see
to
it.
there,
It's
it's
impossible.
9.5, right? You're not putting in the date and
It's
from
impossible
here
for that
to
stamp
here,
to fit there, Mr. Chair. You can
9.5.
take these two notes.
Yeah.
My eyes.
To there.
The stamp is 7 centimeters, the page is 5 centimeters. Show it to Mr. Shivasi. And Mr. Maset. Let's get a second and a third opinion.
Customers maybe just measure the correct space.
The stamp is 7 centimeters, and from the line below the signature to the end of the page, the bottom of the page is 5 centimeters.
I've taught this. My colleague is measuring another stamp, not the one of the documents, so I don't know if that's going to help us. But anyway, I also get an opportunity to measure that. Because I was-
The stamp is 8.5. 8.5. Mr. Muteri, let's not split hair, you're wasting valuable time. It's clear that that stamp is 8.5 centimeters and this page is 5
The
centimeters.
problem, my lord, is that there's in other statements there's stamps which are actually just this size.
Let's not talk about other statements, talk about this one. It's impossible for this statement to have, for that stamp to fit on this statement.
Yes, ma'am. Yeah,
I can take judicial notice of that.
my lord, the part of the if the court would have noticed because I mentioned of this witness previously, it was sought to put to her that that stamp was a bogus stamp. It was that big stamp which came long after that statement was made, and it's not related to this step, to this statement, or what transpired on the day. Hence, it is on a different page, leaving a big space below the name.
It's a good point for argument. It's a point for argument, let's leave it out.
And just lastly, is there anywhere on the front where there is no stamp in this? You'll agree with me, there is no initials by possibly a commissioner of oaths. If you look at it, it's only the accused number 2 signature and no other signature.
Front statement, auna signature, auna initials, una signature ya number 2 bit. That is correct.
Uzovumelana nami mandithi-ke phaya ku-page 1 awekho ama-initials kune-signature yalamhani wesibili cha
Lord, I'll leave the rest for arguments. Regarding the exhibit, my lord, it will be my duty to try and get this exhibit as much as possible. As I said, I will enlist from my colleagues here any other missing exhibit. But the index.
Use that index and then work
The index is
the
going
index and work with all the documents you've got.
Yes, my lord.
Whatever you're missing, you can ask the state council.
Yes, my lord.
It's all on guys.
Yes, but just let us know what you don't have, then we'll help you.
Because I've given him all the copies of the document, all the exhibits.
Sylvia says some of the documents could have gone missing. So he's going to spend time, look at the exhibit, and when he returns on Monday, then we shall show him where he can find it.
Yes, no, because I know we've got instructions from our office, we don't, because it's a
No, you're not making the
we don't make the ball. I mean, you can't keep one.
Right. Thank you,
Thank you,
Mr.
Your Honor.
Chairman, for that.
Thank you.
Yes, Mr. Maseki.
Yes, I made it clear, my lord, and I made an undertaking that one aspect.
Right.
Let's go to the entry 2216 that you made.
Exhibit number.
That's the one for, tell the purpose number.
Exhibit number.
E, my lord.
Exhibit E.
Yes, my lord.
Lord, that will be on page 38. Page 38.
Page 38, thank you.
Yes, my lord. I brought my exhibits.
Have you? Right. Has the witness got the entry?
We want 2216.
No, he said, no, I guess you got it.
You see, in that end, or you said before this court that you are the one who made this entry.
Yes.
futhi nguwe ofake le entry ewe
I see on that entry there is 9 times 19 millimeter rounds. Do you see that part? Inside the forensic bag. Do you see that part?
9 times 19 millimeter rounds. Yes?
So those 19 millimeter rounds were inside the forensic bag with the entry that you made.
It's 19 millimeter rounds when the forensic bag. Entry.
Hello, afuna zidazwe zwithu zwine zikopora fhano kha OB zwi bva kha zwo to ralo kha 13 ndo to bvisa information ya kha 13 na i ṅwala afuna kha OB.
You need to remember that everything that is entered on the OB book is transferred from SAP 13. So I copied everything from the SAP 13 to the OB.
And I promised this one that I was going to ask one question, but now you make me just follow up. So when you said to this court you saw them, what is it that you see, you saw, in terms of the ammunition?
It's live rounds cause one go among me.
Lobo ndazibona zi forensic bag wandinaona nje forensic bag ndayisa.
I saw the live rounds in the forensic bag because I'm the one who took the forensic bag to SAP 13.
And you counted them, were you able to count them?
Forensic bag.
So it wasn't there?
Yes, it was 2.
19 millimeter will be the size of that particular ammunition. You agree?
19 millimeter size, yeah. Bullet. I wouldn't know.
Sorry?
I wouldn't know.
Several times you wrote something that you don't even know here in the current store.
This is something by saying.
Sazonandandisa zone or zwithu zwenda zvikopora kha OB ative a 9 times 19 millimeter yeyo ṅwalwa kha 13. So mulayo nga tshipholisa zwithu zwine zwa zwi ṅwalwa kha SAP 13 u zvikoporola zwoṱhe zwithu zwi swika kha OB uri zwi kone u vha na OB number. So a thi tei u tshintsha tshithu tshine tsha vha tshi kha SAP 13 tshi tshi ṅwala kha OB.
Like I said before, what is on the entry is copied from the SAP 13, and according to our law, you write everything as is on the SAP 13. You're not allowed to change anything.
And you will agree with me. What you wrote here is what you saw inside the forensic bag.
And about putting the Lananori is on one forensic bag.
2 live rounds is one forensic bag.
2 live rounds I saw in the forensic bag.
And the 9 times 19 millimeter, you didn't see it inside the forensic bag.
Mr. Basetti, I think you're making a mistake. You read the entry, it says 2 by 9 by 19. That means the rounds are 2, and the description of the round is a 9 by 19 millimeter round. It's not 9 rounds.
My lord, what I see here,
No, what you see, just look just in front of the 9. It says 2 live 9 by 19 millimeter rounds. 2 rounds. The size of the ammunition is a 9 by 19 millimeter.
Okay, so should this be dealt with as confessor, because the ballistic expert also, his report talks about doing 9 by 19. So shouldn't it have been dealt with?
No, but I just want Mr. Basetti to digest it. He thought he had a good point. I just wanted to digest it. He's just standing there and asking questions from nothing.
this has to do with this witness. She's the one who made the entry.
Yes, it says 2 live 9 by 19 millimeter. The witness said, I took the entry, I took the SAP 13 book, and from the SAP 13 book, I copied exactly what was there. I saw 2 live rounds. The description of the round is a 9 by 19.
But my lord, at those stage I ever heard the witness stating that the description of the rounds is 9 by 19 millimeter. Hence my concern was that 9 times 19 millimeter. To me, it simply says 19 millimeter of that object, those items are
nine of them. Is that what you are saying?
From what I see from
So
the
what's the word in front of it? It says 2 live. So you're saying 2 live, then another 9 what you call ammunition of 19 millimeters.
It's 2 live, 9 times 19 millimeters.
If you just were the colonel was here, Fisser was here, the ballistics expert was here, you should have in fact asked him, and he would explain to you that the description, in fact, maybe perhaps I can assist you. Just ask your client who's sitting behind you. Just ask him. Just ask your client whether there is an ammunition 9 by 19 millimeter.
No, my lord, I don't have to approach the client because I have to rely on what is written on the
No,
edge.
you're misinterpreting it. That's what the court is saying. Ask your client for
The
instructions.
witness would like to say something.
Yes.
I hear now.
Mind you,
this
I'm
one.
not asking no Dangwara, asking no Dangwara SCP if maybe I'm concerned by 9 millimeters. I'm asking no Dangwara 9 by 9 millimeters. None of those copper from, and I didn't expect for the relative to say how many it can be 9 by 19. I can't.
I'm not the one who wrote on the SAP 13. If you have a problem with the description of 9 by 9 millimeter, my duty is to copy everything as is from the SAP 13. And I'm not an expert to say 9 by 9 millimeter size of the bullet. I'm not an expert. I just copied into the OP.
yatsho ukuthi yona yonke into ayibhalileyo yile ayikophe laphaya manje kwincwadi le esebhibhidini yena owakhe umsebenzi wendima yakhe ukuthi akophe yonke into ebhaliwe futhi uyasebenzisa ukuthi abone kusho ukuthi 9 times 9
So the 19 millimeter, you do not know what does it refer to. That appears on your edge.
19 millimeter, but they were
You will come back and say, Mara, let's confirm it. Is it true or I'm not an expert?
It was referring to a size, but I cannot confirm because I'm not an expert.
futhi leyo size leyo millimeter ke bekhuluma nge-size kodwa yena azange zayikhonfirma azange zayimetha futhi akasi-expert akazi ukuthi i-size engakanani.
I'm done. Lastly, principal terms you did cut and paste.
Sorry, 1 second. What was that? Those 2 pounds that PA 502463090, were they handed in?
Yes, ma'am.
What is it number?
Sorry, it was, I've got it here. This is our one, that's the last.
Is it
Yeah, it's an exhibit before court, my lord.
Was it exhibited handed in?
That's correct, my
What
lord.
number?
It's, just see it. It was exhibit 6.
6.
Yes,
I don't suppose you have it here.
Well, I can't hold on to it, I'll have to have the witness police reading it back.
Okay, but when exhibit 6 was handed in,
There were 2 9mm.
when exhibit 6 was handed in,
Yes, my lord.
where were counsel?
No, they didn't go to jail.
And did they see that?
It was shown to everybody.
And in exhibit 6, how many rounds were in?
There were 2 rounds.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, my lord.
My last the last question about
Yes, just to, I hear now the court, but again, just to bring this to the attention of the court. This entry 2216 was done by this witness. At the time Exhibit 6 was handed in, this evidence, at no stage it was ever before this court. It only came because of this witness, this evidence, because she's the one. And at no stage, because I've had on several occasions that before this court that you can only refer the witness based on what he or she has done. So now, to hear that I should have referred it to Colonel Fisser, sometimes you are informed this sort of because there was no way.
So in the exhibit number 6,
Yes.
were there 9 9mm rounds?
My lord, with your respect, 2216 does not state
Let's
that.
forget about 2126. The question to you is exhibit 6. When exhibit 6 was handed in,
Yes, my lord.
were you in court?
I was in court, my lord.
When exhibit 6 was handed in, how many rounds of ammunition were contained in the exhibit bag?
There were 2, my lord.
Right, so not 9.
not 9. Then now the question that I'm posing to this witness is because this one refers to 9.
No, it doesn't.
So-
It says 2 live 9 by 9 millimeter rounds.
That's, my lord, 9 by 9 by 19. It's 9 by 19 millimeter.
Okay, so is it the accused's version that they were in fact 9 millimeter rounds?
No. Before we reach to the version, my lord, I have to deal with this aspect. So now, if we go for versions, something that's built, I'm cross-examining the witness based on what she wrote on the occurrence form. If the witness wrote 9 times 19 millimeter, all it says, those 19 millimeters were 9. That's the
Okay.
simple explanation.
The witness, can I ask you, were there 9 millimeter rounds in that entry, in the OB entry? I mean, in the SAP 13?
The SAP 13, 9 times 19
Hey.
millimeters.
I'm only 1 times 19 millimeter. Local version.
My lord, the witness is pointing to entry 1686 and saying that it was written on the SAP 13. The guy gonna 1686.
What page is that?
I'm sure which page is this. It's not numbered, but this page.
What page is that?
You would then be built out to. Out to.
Round 2. Okay, let's just ask you. Did you physically see the forensic bag?
We want a forensic bag, Mama.
Yeah.
Yes.
How many rounds were inside the forensic bag?
Ngangoma forensic bag, one and the rounds in
Yeah.
2.
Are you sure?
Sure.
Yeah.
Yes.
Could there have been 9 rounds inside there?
I saw 2.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
Thank you. You hear that, Mr. Basetla?
That's how I've heard it. At least we're getting somewhere now. Finalizing. In simple terms, what you wrote here is wrong. You misled us.
Objection. Sustained. Thank you. Next question.
Okay. I'll tell you something. Your colleague Matebula testified before this court that when she made a statement, that statement disappeared to an extent that the investigating officer advised her that the statement does not make sense and the statement was not correct. I'm telling you, that's what she said before this court.
Was that during the cross-examination?
Indeed, so my lord.
By yourself?
By myself, my lord.
Statement chawo disappeared na oya more chila statement achipali
Statement change.
chamatebula.
Yes.
So when you open the statement, chamatebula.
Now supposed to comment on Matebula's statement.
No, I'm just telling you so that you can know and have that knowledge.
Okay.
And I must tell you that she stated before this court that the contents of her statement were inserted by the investigating officer. It's not what she stated to the investigating officer.
Matebula are yezizobakwa ka statement chawe ndizwa investigating officer asizwayo. Okay.
And to an
Well,
extent,
sorry, wasn't these aspects critics? I mean, shouldn't that be relevant? I mean, we haven't going with it. She says, after that, she never, the first time she saw the statement again was at court. So I don't understand where we're going with this. And what's the
And what was she uncomfortable with respect to her statement?
my lord, what makes me uncomfortable is that
No, not you. What was the witness uncomfortable with what he said?
that she was given a statement by Muvhango to commission. She disputed
The
that.
part that says the statement was handed over to her by Sergeant Muvhango. She said, well, that part came from that police officer's own mind.
Yes,
Right.
and to an extent, my lord, I'm trying to make it clear to this court that after that, she said the statement that she commissioned.
Yeah, but now can I ask you a question? You're putting all these things to the witness for her on Sunday morning when she's having breakfast to think about it. How is it going to take the matter further?
Where I'm hitting to, just one last aspect, my lord. I at least now the court understands. Because now, what I see as an officer of the court is that under cross-examination, Ms. Matebula testified before this court that even though she commissioned the statement in the absence of the deponent, that was under cross-examination.
She said that. I don't remember. She says that the accused gave the affidavit to the commission and she gave it back to him. So I don't know how my colleague says that she was absent. Talking about Matebula. That was not the
The court in fact asked her, did you receive the statement by accused number 2 to commission not Sergeant Muvhango? She said yes.
I don't know where my colleague is now saying she was absent. How could she have been absent?
No. My lord, the state didn't even raise an objection. To an extent, I went further and asked, then did you meet and interview the deponent? She said no. Then I questioned.
Massetti,
Yes.
please don't miss the point. The point is, you had a firm and a fair opportunity to cross-examine the witness, Chikani Kairo Matebula.
I did, my lord.
This witness, after she took down the statement from accused number 2, decided to go to the ablution facilities. She does know that.
Thanks, my lord.
So, you are honestly wasting valuable time by putting these propositions to this witness because she was not involved
Thanks, my
at
lord.
that point.
Thanks, my lord. The witness further said, I commissioned the statement even though I did not interview the deponent because I could see the handwriting belongs to the deponent. And I asked her that deponent. She said it's accused number 2.
It's the right point for argument.
She said it's accused number 2. But today, the evidence that is being tendered by the witness is that it's not accused number 2 who wrote the statement, it's her own handwriting. So it goes without saying that the testimony of Matebula before this court under cross-examination and the testimony of this witness under chief exam by the Council of the State.
Well, isn't that a point for argument? I don't agree with my colleague, and obviously I would like to argue why
I
that
just
was
said to Mr. Massetti, it's a point for
We are
argument.
busy arguing now something. And I
Mr.
mean,
Massetti, for argument. Anything else you have?
Nothing further, but I wanted to put it to this witness that there is this aspect.
well, I don't agree with that aspect.
No, that's fine,
I
you can
just-
argue it.
That's what I'm saying.
But these aspects have been put to you, so when you've got some free time, you can sit back and do it.
Nothing further.
Re-examination.
Put this in all of yes, I've been put a bit off guard, so I just want to, I have 2 important things I want to ask this witness. It was put to you by Council accused to that he accused to did not commission or make an oath with Matebula. You remember that?
Hapo umbulore number 2 lore abangu GM ano kanda Matebula. Yes.
And if you as the opponent accused to was not intending to commission these affidavit of Matebula, what would be the position of the docket? We've now handed in the docket, HH. Would a docket be opened if somebody did not want to or abandon his affidavit, or the complainant abandoned his affidavit?
My Lord, opinion, the supposition, not for re-examination, not even for cheap evidence.
Thank you. Objection overruled.
Thank you, my lord.
Continue. What is your answer?
Arali muthu kana complainant I charge lot of la prenda na wash statement tell me ninga docket.
I registering.
The docket does not get registered.
If leyo docket is registered.
And this docket that we handed Exhibit HH, have you still got the copy there? Can I just give you one? Was that docket registered?
Hey, docket you registered?
Eh,
Yes, it was registered.
Leyo docket leyo ke ya register. Ya register.
Now, ma'am, you already testified to this, and if you open that docket, that A1, what statement is A1 in that document?
Ngangoma docket una statement A1 design
chamumbrero over.
accused number 2.
Sorry, madam, may I just inquire from this honorable court? My colleague now is referring to registration of dockets. I don't recall during chief exam, during cross-examination, a registration of docket being dealt with. So I do not know where that comes from.
Objection overruled. Thank you. Continue.
Thank you. Thank you, my lord. Ma'am, now I want you to look at the investigating diary, the first page of the investigating diary. Are you there?
Yes.
Right. The first entry that was made, when was that entry made? Can you see that?
Entry amatomo ka investigation diary ndiari
Date.
Yeah,
the date.
Yeah, the first page of the investigating diary.
It was 20/08
Is it 20? Does it look like a 20?
2020. But it's
No, is it
20
2020? Yes.
08/26.
Just 2020. 0826. And FIC, what does FIC mean that we read there?
FIC.
First information of crime.
Ngasho ukuthi FIC first information of crime.
And what does that mean? First investigation of crime.
First information of crime yango.
Just come statement shotiwawo shiva chuku shorten shiva chuku tokopadziwa ngeno kataya rushicho rivari kurifera uri statement mulandu wovhuliwawo ka statement number A1 chifanira kurikodiwa pano kataya kufupipa ngokufukadzi.
It's a summary or a case that has been opened and a statement A1 has been obtained and everything pertaining to the crime has been written on the statement. So here FIC is a summary of that statement.
Is that the first entry that's made in a document, the FIC?
FIC the entry amatomo ka docket.
Eh,
Yes.
Uyasho ukuthi FIC yonke into ebhalwe phansi kodwa esamarayiziwe ukuthi kwenzakaleni eqaleni.
And that signature that we see there at the FIC, that first entry, do you recognize that signature?
A signature by them.
eh,
Yes.
And whose signature is that?
Yeah.
yamumbrera uri.
Accused number 2.
Uthi yebo leyo signature leyo ayibona lapha ngiyayazi eyakho ke afanele sibili.
So the signature is at the first entry in the investigating diary.
A signature ka entry amatomo ka investigation diary.
Eh,
Yes.
Uthi yebo leyo first entry.
All right. Now, counsel for accused number 3, when he was busy questioning you, you said you are not the one who wrote the SAP 30. Do you know who wrote that SAP 30 entry with the 2 live rounds?
Ngaitsho tshifhinga mmeli wa number 3 a tshi vho vhudzisa nga entry ya SAP 13 nohamba hore asibone bongwala SAP 13 ndini yongwala SAP 13
The move over.
accused number 2 is the one who wrote the SAP 13 entry.
iyasho-ke ukuthi wena-ke number 2 uwe ubhale-ke leyo entry leyo-ke yesepidetini.
Thank you, my lord. I've had further questions.
Judge Muvhango, thank you so much for the attendance. You're excused.
My lord, we already postponed the matter, as I did not the matters before the court today. My lord, I just want to put on record that before today we had come to an agreement that the council, because Sitori's record was so voluminous and there's been objections relating to Exhibit H, and in an extent it also touches Exhibit 2 and 3. And I have to tell, I think there's hundreds of pages of objections. And so the suggestion was that before we call Sitori, as all these objections are contained in that record, which is now evidence before this court, it was suggested that we file heads of argument on those objections that are reported in, and then everyone gets a proper opportunity to put their case law and whatever they need to do to support their objections. So that, my lord, when we call Sitori, that we have dealt with that aspect in the court properly, also gives a ruling on that aspect, and we can have a more smooth running of the witnesses. So, my lord, the agreement was for Monday, that it should be on Monday. I have already started. I don't know if my colleagues can also do that, because I know QC has got a problem on Monday. So, if we cannot say on Monday, but we need to finalize the states of argument. We need to finalize the arguments, my lord, because I think in the long run it's going to save a lot of.
Can I just find out, counsel, would you be in a position to be able to have these heads ready by Monday? Or would you prefer that you come on Tuesday to argue? So you can spend the weekend and Monday getting your heads together. I mean your heads of argument together. When I said get your heads together, I didn't mean that heads of argument.
My lord, I make my intention very clear that I'm not proposing that age. Therefore, my lord, I don't want to wait the first time. I rather, my lord, make use of that time to prepare something that is important for this court. So therefore,
You okay?
I'm okay, my lord. I don't want to take this court any further.
The court pleases, my lord. I have digested the proposal, which I was initially not averse to, and was prompted then to consult further with the accused number 2, my client in this matter, because I had, upon reflection, fundamental legal difficulties about the process from a procedural point of view. If the process is based on the issue of admissibility of the evidence of Sitori, normally in procedure, when you want to deal with admissibility as with a confession, you adjourn and reconvene in a trial within a trial. And the issue of filing herds in the middle of the trial, the fate of which you don't know, might be obfuscating the process. If the state has communicated with our cooperation, where we said that the evidence, the transcript of the evidence of Mr. Sithole should be accepted as such, and then he's got the latitude to then examine him in chief again, whereafter we could re-cross-examine. I think that was very much in order. It's a concession that we made sensibly to the issue of the need to speed up the trial. But I think we will run into procedural difficulties if we start filing heads, and I'm not even certain what the court is going to do with those heads when the trial is still in media. Because the case has got to be dealt with not piecemeal but as a whole. Yes, there are various counts, and actually that is what's going to present the court with problems. There are several counts. We do not know, some of them are sub-counts that are hinging on others, and so on and so forth. Now, when the heads are dealt with in respect of which counts, for example, and to what avail, and how is the court going to deal with them at this stage? Is the court going to bend it and say, all right, carry on the trial, I'll deal with your heads after, or I'll make a ruling now that this is how you're going to do the case? And that's an issue that's going to make the court deal with the matter or decide the matter rather piecemeal than holistically. And upon very serious reflection, I felt that that process is injudicious and maybe unprocedural. Court, please. I'm otherwise not averse to put on heads. I could write heads. I know my point of view, but I am concerned that we're going to be jumping around and taking one thing, then putting it there, and either being called upon to decide prematurely and all of that. And I don't think it's, as I say, judicious, with all due respect.
Thanks for that. My lord, the court will note that from the previous trial on this matter, I have some concerns to an extent that I brought those concerns to the presiding officer, suggesting that how about maybe we start with this for the admissibility, because there is this issue which is very key. Then to an extent that if the court decides to, then the matter proceeds. But the court then, my lord, made it clear that no, it's fine, I'll deal with this provisionally. Then at a later stage, I will decide what to about the evidence. I was not really comfortable with such, without first dealing with the proper procedure of going for trial within trial, if there is such an issue that is being raised. In the sense that we are not. But at the end of the day, I am in agreement with the representative of number 2. I'm also not comfortable with this manner of dealing with this evidence of Mr. Sithole.
Okay, my lord, perhaps maybe just suggest the following. Do it in the following way. Let me hear a substantial argument
As the court pleases. So otherwise on Monday we must come and argue
Monday,
this
come and
properly.
argue, I want to hear what is Mr. Nathaniel saying is unjudicious and unprocedural.
Yes.
What prejudice would be suffered if any, and then the whole thing. So you've got to set up exactly in crisp detail exactly what is it that you want to do and what you are hoping to achieve. Why you want to do what you want to do.
So my lord, we gained the draft that we had is a few days ago. When this was
Let's forget about. Remember, counsel said after serious reflection, he's entitled to go back, apply his mind, and renege from it. The state wants to follow a certain process, right? So I'm saying, put together heads in terms of that process, bring a substantive application as to what you require, and set out exactly why you want it. and let counsel for accused number 2 and 3 then oppose the application.
Look, can I just say, I respect that, and my lord, I stand with the board, but may I just say something? Yesterday we adjourned early, so that my colleagues could have opportunity. Yesterday there was no objection. The day before that there was no objection. We've had how many days? I've been sitting with working on mine for 3 days now.
Yes.
My colleagues, I believe, have been doing the same because that is what we understood. So if we are going to have this argument on Monday, then Tuesday we have to, those heads have to be in. Because I mean, if they've been working, yes, but what I mean, my lord, is we cannot then have another postponement of 3, 4, 5 days.
No.
And then I've got to wait with your security for another 5 days. So my colleagues need to know they've had enough time.
Now, Monday morning,
They need to be ready for it.
Mr. Massetti says he's ungiven with the position taken by counsel for accused number 2. So let me hear the substantive, because you want to bring an application to do what again?
My lord,
To relating to Exhibit H.
my lord, you must remember, I just want to mention something. When Sutoli came here that day, I was ready to start the NOVA. From scratch, taking it through. I was ready. The witness was here. I was about to call the witness. It was actually Mr. Nathaniel, if I remember well, but it was the first person to go out and say, but listen, they've spoken, they want to hand in that exhibits as if that evidence was presented before this court. So that means that the day, and then I agreed to this, my lord,
And it's already been handed.
so it was understood that that evidence, as it was presented before Manal, is now presented before this court.
Right.
Then at the point, I wanted to hand up Exhibit H, and when I handed it up, then there was an objection, say, but listen, there was problems regarding Exhibit H. And then we said, well, this court will have to then make it, because rulings that Manal made. And you see, the rulings made by Manal at that stage is the same as the rulings now. So I can understand why my colleagues are saying, but we must not argue this, because
But let's, I think to be only fair, let us maybe have the opportunity to hear counsel for accused number 2 after he reflected on the matter as to where he finds there to be a challenge and what is unjudicious in this process and why is it view that this matter will be jumping around all the position. Let me hear an argument as to what you want to be done. Let me hear the opposing views, the court will then make it.
because one is also remember, strictly speaking, I don't have to ask Sipoli any further questions. So then that record stands and there's no objection. So if my colleagues now say we're just going to leave everything as is, with Judge Manama, the objections that were made, the rulings by him, I mean, obviously, before I sit down and say, well, I close my case, the court has to then make rulings, and we have to argue those points that are contained. That evidence is presented before this court. We have to argue it. So I don't know how that is so difficult, because that is obviously what needs to happen. Or are they saying we wait until the end of the state case before or are they going to object while they cross-examine? That's what I'm saying.
I think
Just nothing makes sense.
Let's give them the weekend for them to decide what is their position, and we can take it. Would that be in order, Mr. Secretary?
No, look, that would be very much important. I just want to say, well, I think the understanding really was cooperatively to make sure that the evidence was told, which was by far the longest, is not revisited in its entire detail, but that the transcript will be handed in. But I think there was a right to say the state may put whatever it wants to put in addition, and the defense will have a latitude to cross-examine. So I don't think we were being, fussy or anything like that. But we're really trying to cooperate.
But I think Mr. Badenhorst obviously wants to deal with Exhibit H, because there's no common ground reached in respect of Exhibit H. And obviously he's inviting the defense to say, place on record what challenges you have in respect of Exhibit H. Let this court make a ruling. But now I'm interested to hear why you then indicate that if the court were to then listen to argument going on, why you of the view that is unjudicious.
The point is, my lord, the state naturally has got a duty to prove his case. You know, it's dominus litis. We cannot dictate to the state. But then to the extent that then there are legal procedural issues.
So what the state is saying, Mr. Muteli, is saying, look, this evidence was meant to please. The state, the only reason the state in fact approached you with this particular procedure, as I understood it the other day, was to try and shorten these proceedings which would ultimately benefit your clients, as well as bring finality to this matter much faster. That's the only reason. Mr. Badenhorst can, at a leisurely pace, read the evidence of the witness for another 3 weeks. He can take his time. He's got no real pressure on his back. But I understood that at the time when the approach was made, was to accommodate the accused specifically, to say they mustn't be out of pocket for such a long time, to bring finality to the matter as well. But if you are of the view that you want to take the scenic route in this matter, I'm certain the state won't have a problem for us to then look at the famed boss and see the mountains and maybe then get to the sea sometime or the other before Christmas.
Yeah. Well, I do hear the court. The only thing is, each and every evidence here is led because of an indictment based on certain charges. So each and every charge, especially in this case, is in one way or another related to the other. So hence I am saying that this process may have the effect of confusing issues. Because there is a reason why there's exhibit H.
Confusing issues for who?
For the courts, for all of us.
You must speak for yourself, Mr. Mukherjee. Don't speak for the court that the court's going to become confused. Because I can safely say to you thus far, in all these days of hearing, I don't think there's any indication at all that this court is confused about anything at all. This court is in full in control of the proceedings. It has got all the exhibits, it's got everything. So perhaps if you are uncertain about where you are heading to in the matter and you need time to think about it, I'm saying I'll give you time till Monday. Come and argue the matter. The court will make a ruling, and once the court makes a ruling, we'll move forward. I think that will be the best. I'm not at this point in time. I have the other matter to deal with, and I'm not in a position to hear argument at this stage. Give counsel the time to prepare themselves.
Of course,
Yeah, I just wanted to make a simple what can I say? My lord, what I'm saying is, I think we've agreed that Tolly must start denoting us.
Sorry?
I think we've agreed that Constable Tolly must start denoting.
But I suggest you also, Mr. Shivasi, what we do is let's hear argument on Monday. Good.
So, my lord, we came to the chambers. I had a request, but I don't want this to appear otherwise. Because transport is something else, so I do not have control about transport. Taking into account what I addressed in the chambers together with the colleagues. So hence, my humble request was that because at least there is another matter, this honorable colleague not just be sitting doing nothing, there is another matter that it appears that this court will this way. At least, well,
I will come on Tuesday.
Please.
Would you be able to, shall I say, would you be able to wake up on Tuesday?
No, I'll do it.
Are you sure?
Yes, correct. Yes.
Mr. Badenhorst, then let's do this here. Let's just, you bring the application. Because now I'm hearing Mr. Shivasi, the evidence is still going to start getting off. So, I really don't know where the parties are standing. I suggest that maybe you'll have a discussion. And I think, moving forward, if there's any agreement made between the parties, that immediately thereupon, that agreement be reduced in writing of the parties.
Well, if we are recording what's been said and everybody's going to is that not in writing? Is it a recording of the
I
score?
suggest we have the memorandum of understanding, so we put together a in respect of the evidence of Citroën memorandum of understanding, and this is agreed to. I think that would be the best, because your cause of complaint currently is that 3 days ago there was an arrangement in the matter. Now you're taken by surprise that there's a new development.
That's good.
But having heard what you are saying, you must remember that a criminal trial is a fluid matter. Things could change in 1 second.
I understand.
Clients could give new instructions.
I
You
understand.
can't hold a client down to say, well, you said A on this day, I'm holding to A. Things change. And you must liken a criminal trial to the weather. Sometimes it's sunny, sometimes it's raining.
That's good.
And at the end of the day, the accused persons must be given a firm and a fair opportunity and enjoy the right to a fair trial.
Because what the reality is, if I call Sutoli to the box, the first time the counsel stands up and objects, I'm going to insist that he heads. Because obviously they
Yes.
need to put their. So, what's the difference if you
Yeah,
get
well,
just before he comes or the moment he walks into the
Yeah,
box?
well, you Dominus Litis will be guided by you.
But let's see what good.
These are interesting developments.
That's good.
And I suggest one should embrace it.
That's good.
This is what makes the legal process so exciting on a daily basis. So we're then going to return on the Tuesday. Mr. Shivasa?
Controlled by Mr. Masini, my lord.
Yeah, but can you make sure that Masaki will be here on Tuesday?
I will definitely do that, but not. I am available on Tuesday morning.
Okay, let's. So then, on Tuesday, this court will hear a substantive application. When I say substantive, that means whatever arguments you are raising, you would have put together a set of heads for this court to apply its mind to before it makes a ruling on that particular. So, if the court rules in favor of the state, then the parties will have to do 2 sets of heads. If the court rules against the state, then we will only be in for 1 set of heads.
Well, otherwise, I'm thinking to say, because I need the statements to carry on as it's going. Otherwise, I'm just going to withdraw that application. I'm going to call I think to choose some police support and what I do from there.
I think just
just
consider
say
your
it.
position. Consider your position. Let's convene on the Tuesday. Let's see what.
All right.
But I'm saying for now, the position very simply, the order of the court will be that the application will be heard on Tuesday, and in that regard, substantive heads of argument before the court for and against the position of the respective counsel. Don't just can't stand up and say it's unjudicious. I want to know why. As a court. Ms. Kagan Whiteboy, Mr. Giovanni, and Mr. Chibor Foster. We have reached the stage in the proceedings where the next step is to deal with the evidence of the officer's situation. You have heard that there was an agreement previously, but that agreement seems to be not there any longer, which necessitates obviously the matter to be postponed in order to allow counsel to prepare themselves properly for this argument. Mr. Massetti has got a family responsibility commitment that is requiring him to travel out of the province, and his travel arrangements are of such a nature that he may not timelessly be back on Monday. So, and we do not want a repetition of what happened previously. Therefore, in the circumstances, the court will perhaps indulge counsel in that regard. Therefore, in the circumstances,